And now, podcasting from the sun-scorched desert Southwest, weighing in at a combined total of 340 pounds, Brad Winchester, Tyler McDowell Blanken, are Gimmick Infringement.
Welcome, everybody, to the Gimmick Infringement Podcast. I am Brad Winchester, and with me, as always, is my tag team partner, Tyler McDowell Blanken. Tyler, it's Sunday. Gonna have a little bit of a different episode today, but I'm excited for it. How are you doing?
Yeah, man, it's Sunday. You know what that means. It's time for GI. We're going to drop on a Monday, record on a Sunday. That's how we do. I am doing well, man. All's good over here. We got to catch up during the production meeting. So our life is really central or kind of centered around school, Brad. Like ultimately,
yes.
School's good. It's still busy for both of us in our respective contexts, but December is so close. Obviously, we got that just amazing Thanksgiving break on the horizon. And once we get back, you to Miranda, me to ASU, like we're just so close to the end at that point that it's just kind of that mad dash to the finish line. So I'm good, man. I'm excited to see you as always, and I want to know how you're doing.
I'm doing really well. I said I'd save it during the production meeting. I said I'd save this for the podcast.
You did something about a washer
last week, man.
Let's go.
Last week, Monday night, Sunday night. I can't even remember when it was now. It's all blurring together. I decided to put a load of laundry in, and it was 8:30, 9 o'clock. And I'm like, all right, I'm just waiting for it to finish. I'm going to go sit out on the couch. I'm just going to wait for it to finish. And I hear ka-tunk, ka-tunk, ka-tunk. Okay, washer got unbalanced. That's weird. Because I only put in a load of laundry. I didn't put in like the king size comforters that have been in there before, or the bed sheets or the towels or whatever. This is just like some pants, some underwear, some shirts, a couple of new shirts, a couple of new pairs of pants. So I went in there, and it said there's 11 minutes left. And that's how it stayed. It did not restart. I turned it off. It did not restart. I unplugged it. It did not restart. Power everywhere. I'd press the little play button on it to get it going again, and I just hear it clicking away. Here's the problem, Tyler. The lock doesn't work now. Whatever burned out there won't disable the door lock. My clothes have been in there for a week, wet for a week. And I don't know what the smell is in the laundry room, but I know what the smell is in the laundry room. And here's the problem. The tech came out on like Wednesday or Thursday. We put in the American Home Shield thing. They came out, and the tech's like, it's the motherboard. My first thought was, why does a washer have a motherboard? What are we doing? Second thought, it's 2 years old, and this isn't covered in warranty.
It's not covered in the the motherboard isn't mentioned in the warranty?
The drum? Yes.
Of course.
The motor? Yes. The wiring? No. The motherboard? No.
Oh no, that's that fine print.
1 year parts and labor on a washing machine. One. Bullshit. So I got this broken washer. I can't get into it. There's no manual disable for the lock. And some of you might be listening right now going like, oh, well, just take the top off and then you can pop the manual door lock release. No, you can't. It was attempted by the guy who fixes these things. So my clothing is like semi-permanently entombed inside of this. It's going to come out like a clod of clothing, just probably caked in mildew. I am scared that the smell will never be recoverable. Hundreds of dollars of clothing will be lost and nothing will replace it. I'm kind of pissed about this.
Do you have any prized items in there? Like I'm thinking, was it wrestling tees? Was it work clothes?
I don't even know.
Oh wow!
It's been
like
too much.
Don't tell me your prized Rhea Ripley shirt isn't there.
I haven't been able to fit that for a year. So like there's for certain my Miranda Crew t-shirt is in there, which is a problem because I need it. We don't have anymore. Yeah. So not that I'm out rowing, for those of you that misunderstood, my Crew for Tech t-shirts in there. I got a long sleeve one, but I don't want to die back there. So yeah. my crew shirts in there. I have a pair of black pants that are in there. Jess got me a couple of new pairs of sweatpants, Costco City, and then
Kirkland Jones.
probably
Okay, Jess. Way to take care of her mans.
Because I said I need new pants, I need
Yeah.
new shirts. If you see something that you know I'll like, pick them up.
She probably said, "Say less." I got you. Boo.
She did. She came back with a lot, and they all fit, and was really happy with them. I forgot my hoodie one day. My room was air conditioning was on 60 degrees the entire week.
You were telling me about that.
60.5.
The classroom temperature. I remember those days. Not particularly fondly.
So they turned it off. And now my room at the end of the week was 77, 78 degrees.
So now it's too hot. Oh,
I just figure it out.
I remember those days, Brad. You know I do.
I'm so tired of it, man. I'm gonna burn that building down. That's how I'm gonna get fired. Like fired and arrested. I'm just gonna burn that shit down. So anyway, I went to the bookstore to go get a long sleeve t-shirt and or a hoodie, and all of them are terrible, right? Like you go in there, I'm like, I do not want this like tie-dye camo, whatever this is. This looks like 1993 and not in a good way. And it's got the stupid tiger claw thing going across it and like the LSU ripoff logo. And I'm like, we have an original logo and it's good. Why aren't we using that? Why has everything got to be so busy on the front? Like this all looks terrible. And then they had the ones that I like, the kind of the white with the blue that are really thin layered that have been there forever. I have a pair of that, big coffee stain on the front, so I don't wear it. So I was like, oh, maybe I'll just get one of those. And I was like, why are these still so expensive? Long story long, I found a long sleeve t-shirt. Anyway, the first time that got washed is when the washer locked. So that's probably gone forever. Cheers.
So you got some good pieces that are now covered in mildew.
Yeah, and I don't know if they're recoverable. The worst part is, for some reason, I don't know if it's because of the gym or because of something else. Like I got most of my underwear is in that washer. Like I think I got 4 pairs.
I think we buried the lead, Brad. That's some pretty critical information.
Well, I got like 4 or 5 pairs, right? Like
okay.
that are I'm good for like a week. But today I'm on like the emergency backup pair, and I got to go. It's like the pair that you keep that you're probably not going to wear ever, but like when you're like, oh man, I haven't done laundry in a while, and you got to get after those. That's that there's always that one pair that like you have them, you don't know why you don't get rid of them, but they're there. But we got to go to the in-laws to do laundry today, and it's just I hate this so much. I just want my stuff to work. It's a 2-year-old washer. It turned 2 in September. Why is it breaking? Why? What? I want my money back, Tyler.
Yeah, I don't begrudge you at all, man. The warranties are so interesting. You would just assume that a motherboard, should they now exist in washers, would be covered as part of this warranty. But it's not.
No.
And they're not going to make any exceptions because these warranties are ironclad for some reason.
It's just a motherboard. Like, what is it? Got a graphics card in there somewhere too? We running like, what kind of processor does it have?
Yeah, that's nuts.
Is it quad core? Is it what are we doing? It's a washer.
I'm totally on your side with this one. And something I did not tell you about with regard to my week, but I'm going to tell you about it now, is I saw something on Netflix that I want to talk to you about. It made me think of a past time in my life. It made me think of you, and we're going to discuss it. So it's time. Let's hit the music, Brad. GI at the movies. Let's go.
And now, it's time for GI at the movies.
So, Brad, I was in my Netflix bag, and I don't know if you're this way when you go to these apps, but sometimes I go there very purposefully and looking for a specific program I want to watch. Other times, like this case, I just pull up the app. So I pull up Netflix, get the little do-do sound, and I just sort of scroll to see what's out there to various degrees of success. But this one was very successful this occasion. I found this new Netflix doc. It's called Big Vape. It was just released a few weeks ago, and it chronicles the rise and downfall of Juul. I believe it's a 4-part docu-series, and I thought it was really well done, Brad. I did not know the origins of Jewel. So two Stanford jabrones created Jewel years and years ago. It was their kind of final project for class and for their class at Stanford. And through the years, there's been different iterations of Jewel. So their initial submission for Stanford, that was of course, the prototype. But in the years since, we're talking 5-10 years, they ended up creating this vaping device that looked very sleek and was much more mature than the original one they created years and years ago. So 2 takeaways for me, Brad. 1, I didn't know about the Silicon Valley origins. And then 2, I didn't realize that Jewel has now basically become defunct. They no longer have their Instagram page. Obviously, the federal government has been on their ass and just kind of like swept them out of the nation, which perhaps is not a bad thing.
Yeah.
But they got in trouble because they were marketing to teens. So when they tried to really grow Jewel, their advertisements were very much kind of given the vibes of what cigarette companies did years and years ago when they were trying to make smoking be the cool in fashion thing. So highly recommend you check this out. Those are all the spoilers I'm going to give. It was really well done. But Brad, this made me think of a very specific time in my life professionally. Do you remember circa 2018, 2019 when we first learned of Juuls?
Yes, in fact, they had trainings running at multiple different times. I attended one in the North Pod, I believe, or the South Pod. I know we also got it from, I think, our PBIS crew at some point. Maybe that's who did it. I don't remember.
I think so. Yeah.
I seem to remember Sarah Kaser being involved in some fashion, but over in J8 and having the table set up and all the stuff was on it. And yeah, man, I remember that in multiple different places. This is what vapes look like. Here's what a Juul looks like. Here's why it's dangerous. Here's why it's a problem. Aside from the obvious, you can't even have tobacco or THC products. THC products were illegal at the time in Arizona anyway, but you can't have any of that stuff on a school campus or a state government run facility. So yeah, it was, I remember it very well. It has not gone away. It has simply been replaced with something, but I'll get into that in a second.
I was going to ask you about that. Like I'm pretty far removed, but what I remember, first of all, this feels like it could have been 10 years ago, Brad, but the fact that it was only 5 years ago is just...
It feels longer.
It feels longer.
Yeah.
I just remember being the old head in the room thinking like, I've never heard of this. I've never seen it. Certainly kids are probably using this, but like I've never even realized. I was probably the guy who thought, oh, the kid just has the flash drive out. That's good on them to be responsible today. The fact that this was just so prevalent and I had no idea, it just made me think of the trainings we went through and just the kind of nefarious marketing strategy, man. Juul was originally created, as I learned through this documentary, it was created to help smokers quit smoking. But what it turned out to be, many would argue, was it brought in a new generation of smokers. So they went into the history of, is it healthier than smoking and X, Y, and Z. But yeah, man, I remember the trainings well. And I don't know what I was doing in 2018 or 2019 when I just had no earthly idea that this was everywhere. Maybe it's because I wasn't on Instagram. I don't know that they're targeting me as their ideal demographic. So maybe the algorithms just weren't meant for me to see it. But I thought of you and I thought of all of our colleagues at Miranda and then really nationwide because this was an absolute epidemic.
Yeah, I think part of it, because I didn't know what was going on either. I think you just go so locked into your own life that you don't realize that life is passing you by in kind of a youth movement. It's one of those sudden realizations where you're like, you kind of tell yourself, at least I do in teaching, that I'm never going to be that guy that gets too old to not understand what's going on. Man, that ship sailed several years ago.
That was me at 26. I was too far gone.
It's been a long time, or maybe I've just been deluding myself. I have no idea, but it's one of those things that I think we all kind of went, what are they doing? Right now it's cake bars. So cake bars are really the problem. Do you know what a cake bar is? Not a delicious dessert.
Does it look like a little pod, like a little like Capri Sun? Is that what?
No.
Okay, at 26 I was an old head, and now at 30 I'm a dinosaur. I'm just gonna listen as I sit under the Winchester learning tree.
A cake bar is essentially a jewel. It's longer, it's thin and long, and they're disposable. So you could just use it, go, and most of them are loaded up with THC. So kids are using those now more than I see them just simply vaping. So
and cake bar, like the name, I'm thinking of the marketing of the name. It sounds less insidious. It's cake. It's a bar. I'm sure the colors are also. That was the thing with Juul.
Yes, bright colors.
The flavors and the colors were again very much appealing to a younger crowd. Okay, I got you.
Because I was trying to find the image, and I was like, cake bar, and then immediately, yeah.
I've never heard of this.
I will send you a link.
Okay.
You'll see it. It kind of looks like a early 2000s, late 90s ad for an album you would see in a magazine. I don't know how else to describe it other than that, and hopefully that makes sense when I send it to you. And I think I sent it to you and not Walgreens because I can't see anything right now.
You did.
Okay, good. Yeah, but you can see like the cover of that. I've never
seen this. Yeah.
Yeah. It's straight up. It looks like, I don't know. It looks like Gwen Stefani and I don't even know who. Gwen Stefani and Puffy did a collaboration, and that's what it came up with.
Wow. Yeah, I'm just processing this one, man. I know this is great content for our listeners and viewers as I just look at this like, okay, here I am again 5 years later, not knowing what's trendy with the vape industry. Wow. Okay. So Juuls have just simply been replaced.
Yeah.
That's my takeaway.
Yeah. There's so many other options and there's so many other things.
Wow.
It's in Arizona. It's easier to get a hold of that kind of stuff now because it's not illegal to buy it. So if parents have it and it's available, like all kids got to do is scoop it up. So it's, and I'm sure people are selling it, buying a bunch and then selling them to minors. I mean, that's true of all things. It paints a very nefarious kind of world that we live in, but it's like teenagers gonna teenage. This is not a local thing. This is a global thing. More than likely, if there's things that are accessible anyway, teens are teens. And I think just having access to those things makes it problematic, but I also we don't know what the long-term effects are on all of this stuff yet because it just simply hasn't been long-term enough. And we don't know what the long-term effects are on this because it's even newer than the other stuff. So hard to know what's going to happen. So hard to know how it's going to affect you. We just know how it affects some. And we have that limited information right now. It's scary because you don't, I think tolerance, like anything, I'm kind of a lightweight these days. And I think about like I have THC gummies that I'll take on occasion if it's like I got a headache, a migraine, and I took my medicine and it worked a little bit, but it didn't work all the way. I can't take a whole gummy. I don't want that. So I'll take a quarter of one. It's 2.5 milligrams, I think. Milligrams or micrograms, I can't remember, of THC. With those things, it's a concentrate. So sure, you can inhale it, but if you're just like, oh, it didn't work, let me go ahead and hit it again. Suddenly you have so much in your system, you're going to be non-functional, maybe non-responsive. Like you're probably going to be fine, but you're going to be a hot mess. And I don't think we do a very good job of educating kids about what the long-term developmental effects are. I think there was some time where it was like, oh, weed's not bad for you. And anything you smoke is bad for you. Anything you intentionally inhale is bad for you. Having a fire last night when it was blowing in my face was bad for me. But nobody talks about the development of the frontal lobes and how it will literally stunt that development and growth up until you're about 25. Until the brain's entirely finished cooking, it's really difficult to know. And I know I'm getting all soapboxy here, but it's like, kind of wish I would have known that growing up. Would have made a lot more sense for me.
No, man. I think you should embrace the soapbox. That was one of my takeaways from the documentary. Was exactly what you said. It's so new that there just isn't enough research yet to clearly paint a portrait of what the effects are going to be. I was just stunned that this ended up being a $1 billion company. Like
Yeah.
Jewel grossed $1 billion, Brad. They gave us charts and you just heard from different people on this side of the issue. Yeah, man. So really well done. Highly recommend you check it out. But I know we have some wrestling to talk. So I'm actually going to pass it to you, Brad. We are going to take a different approach with our wrestling conversation this week.
Yeah, this was tough. Last week we were talking about it, and I can't quite put my finger on it. I can put it. I kind of can. I don't know what to say. It's wrestling right now just feels very mediocre. At least in the big two. I'm not going to say that it feels mediocre in the other programming because I don't watch it, so I don't know. But in WWE, I'm pretty bored, and when I'm not bored, I'm confused. And then in AEW, it's just been a lot of meh. There've been really good matches, but I haven't cared about any of them. So are they really good matches if you don't care about them? Like they have these really cool moments, really cool spots, but I don't really care. So Sting was on screen a lot this week. For example, he wrestled on Wednesday and on Saturday. We saw Edge do a tope, which was wild. We got the meat chance between Samoa Joe and Keith Lee, which was essentially the only match I was looking forward to the entire week out of anything. We have the tease for War Games coming back, which I don't know. Randy's returning, right? Like that's what's going to happen here.
Yeah, I think so. And maybe a Jade debut on the women's side of things.
That would be nice. Damage Control
Yes.
is eventually going to turn and beat the hell out of Bailey. That's happening.
Sadly.
Yeah.
I think so.
Asuka,
I think so.
Asuka and Kyrie are not going to forget the dusting that Kyrie took in the back by Bailey and Sasha.
When they showed that on SmackDown, Brad, and maybe this is just a sign of my memory. We talked about vapes just a few minutes ago, and now we're talking about the Bailey beating on Kyrie. I had no idea it was so vicious back on that 2020 episode of Raw. When Bailey showed that, she queued up the monitor. I was like, oh my gosh, yeah, Bailey, you're not getting out of this one. Like you didn't just clothesline Kyrie and threw her out. Like you destroyed this woman backstage.
Yeah, that was why she left the company. It was like, we're going to murder her so she lives forever.
It was snug. Yeah.
That's why she ended up going back to Japan. So,
Bailey, you're going to need some hugs. You're going to need to become a hugger again because I don't think this is not going to be the outcome that you want. You're going to lose the War Games match. Jade is going to look great. She's going to help their team win. And then Damage Control will pin the loss on Bailey.
Imagine her getting beat up again, and then like a month or two goes by, and her old theme plays.
I think that's what could happen. Yes.
Imagine the pop.
I know that's a bold take on my part. That is what's going to happen. We're getting the hugger back.
I hope that happens at least for a little while. Yeah. She could change it up, but maybe not the hugger, but like get the old theme back, that positive bright colored Bailey.
Yeah, a different variation. Yeah.
Yeah, sure. I think that could be huge. So
I do too.
I would love to, but like the fact this is the point. We're talking about what will happen in the future because we hope that it'll be better. And they're planting seeds. Don't get me wrong. WWE's doing a great job of planting seeds. I think they're building out for their show for Survivor Series. And I think it'll probably be a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to Survivor Series. I just nobody's convinced me to tune into the weekly product because it's just a rehash of everything they do all the time. And in AEW, it's kind of the same thing. It's a bunch of tag teams in battles that don't matter, that are to further a story that is secondary or tertiary to what's happening in the ring. So it's like MJF is in like 5 feuds. There's like 5 things going on in MJF right now.
We're getting a lot of Maxwell Jacob Friedman.
Yeah. We have the Devil in the mask.
Right.
Adam Cole in the ROH titles. Samoa Joe's Friendship Alliance, whatever. Wardlow wants to kill him. And we have Jay White holding the belt. So 5 things right now currently happening, at least with MJF. Plus he's the champ, so everybody wants to fight him. And then what do we have with Hangman? We have Hangman and Swerve again.
Yep. Yep.
Um,
We'll talk about that soon.
Still, I don't know why Swerve hasn't gone after Max. Hangman doesn't know why either. Moxley exists. I think he's still recovering, but I can't think of much else that's going on. The Willow Julia Hart thing kind of petered out, and then they had a match. It was like, I don't know, her positivity overcame the darkness, I guess. I don't really understand what happened there. That was all very confusing. Sky Blue is still, I don't know, in between worlds. Tony is Tony, still doing stuff with Sheeta. That's been going on for a while now. It's some of it is like there's moments of intriguing, and then there's just like a lot of we're trying to build our new stars and our new talent, getting the Righteous to be bigger and making sure JD Drake gets his spots because he's awesome. Like making sure that stuff happens, but it's not. I've seen people that are like AEW diehards. Andy Nemedy, for example, shout out to Andy and Amy, fellow state of Arizona residents. He said, "I'm not going to watch this. Card's not for me." And I thought, wow, it really is about what did you put together in AEW. And I know there's people like it doesn't matter. The win-loss record is gone. It doesn't matter. Okay, if the win-loss record doesn't matter because that didn't work, then why are they still showing it? Why is when Keith Lee comes out or Willow comes out, it says Willow's singles record is 6-1 this year. If it says Willow is 6-1, then the singles record matters. If that's not there, then the single records doesn't matter. So if the ranking system doesn't matter, then why are we ranking them? Why are we showing wins and losses if it doesn't matter? Simply get rid of that. It drives me crazy. I love the idea of this tournament coming up. They're going to kill Bryan Danielson before he can retire. I love that they're doing all this stuff, but I don't know. I can't put my finger on it, Tyler. I don't know what it is. The chemistry between me and wrestling right now is as bad as the chemistry between Charlotte Flair and Kairi Sane. Sip my coffee now.
Charlotte kind of just tapped the steel steps. It's like a little love tap. It wasn't quite the little like Irish whip that Kyrie was hoping for. Yeah, that was rough. The chemistry wasn't there. Yeah, you're not alone, Brad. I mean, I've also seen what you're referring to. I mean, even last week, I believe our conversation was a temperature check on AEW, but certainly from week to week, we have our conversations about what's going well in WWE and what's not. All your points are valid. For me, there's two things I'm thinking of. Number one, there's so much content now every week that it's kind of one of those, I think, be careful what you wish for situations. We love wrestling so much.
Yeah.
So you would think the more wrestling, the better, but it's just hard to simply watch everything. And then as of late, we've disagreed with a lot of the decisions that we've seen on screen. Just sticking with AEW for a moment. Yes, there have been some absolute fire matches. I'm glad at Full Gear. I know we'll talk about this soon. At Full Gear, we're getting 2 women's matches on the card. Insert LeBron gif. It's about damn time.
Yep.
But then we've also had some curious instances or decisions of the Tony Khan important announcements seem to be a matter of trolling at this point. I believe that was the same show or maybe the week after that Ric Flair was signed.
Yep.
So AEW in some respects kind of feels to me like it was that really great indie or local restaurant you went to for 3-4 years, but now it's feeling a bit more corporate and a bit more, I thought this was the place that banned Hulk Hogan forever. Like, of course I'm going to ride with them till the wheels fall off. But when you sign Ric Flair, when you have these announcements, and then again, we've spoken at length about our concerns regarding the lack of consistent time and storytelling for the women's division. Like, I think these are hallmarks for what you and I enjoy in wrestling, Brad. We like to support what seem to be ethical people and ethical companies. We love women's wrestling, and we also love saving money. And paying $50 a month now for every pay-per-view is really hard. On the WWE end of things, Roman Reigns is still champion. And as much as we acknowledge our tribal chief, he should not be champion anymore. We've litigated that time and time again. And also the for example, on SmackDown this week, this last thing, then I'll pass it back to you. Because like you said, there's a lot to enjoy, but there's also there's just a lot that's not great right now, which is why my chemistry with wrestling is off. The Santos Escobar turn. So Carlito comes out. He says, no, the real issue isn't Logan Paul screwing you, Ray. It's Santos Escobar leaving the brass knucks for Logan to knock you out with. And then 10 minutes later, Santos actually turns on Ray. I felt like there were some storyline pieces that were missing.
Yeah.
I don't know that you can just go from 0 to 100 on your mentor, your hero, that quickly. So I think a lot of what we're discussing also goes back to the storylines, and they're just not hitting with us the same way they were in both companies months or, even last year, months ago, or even back in 2022.
To your point, I think if we're to expect that Cody Rhodes, because he's not going to win the Rumble again, they won't have him win back to back.
He better not. There's no need for that.
No. If he's going to challenge Roman for the Mania title, we've had storylines where they've announced that a year ahead of time that these two are going to wrestle.
Yeah, Cena versus Rock. Yeah.
Yes, and right now, Cody and company are still in this endless feud with the Judgment Day. And it's just too repetitive. The same combination of people over and over and over again. And I understand that roster was thinned out a little bit, and that we have all this talent in SmackDown and all this talent in Raw. So they're gonna overlap a ton, so that, I don't know, your favorites always get that screen time, and there's fewer people that are in the back, I think. But like I sent you yesterday or 2 days ago, I can't remember which one, where I reacted and I sent you the Dexter Lumis pick from.
That was yesterday, I think. That was really recent. Yeah, I remember that.
Where's Dexter Lumis? Where are all these people that where's everybody? Like, I don't actually know for sure, because I don't watch regularly anymore, because I don't feel like I have a reason to. Because I don't care about any of these things. Why isn't Cody wrestling Bobby Lashley? Why isn't Cody wrestling, like, I don't know, anybody else? He's in these tag team gimmicks for forever. And when he's not, he's just beating up Dominic Mysterio or somebody else in the Judgment Day. And it's just like, get out of that feud, please, for the love of God. Bring that dog out back and shoot it. I'm so sick of watching it. I just don't anymore. I just turn it off. It's fine if it's like a one-on-one feud that goes on for a while. Like, I loved what they did with Shin and with Seth, because I thought it made sense. But this doesn't make sense. I'd just be like, I've beaten you guys like 20 times. I'm good. We're done. And if anything happens after War Games with this, then I'll assume they truly have no idea what to do with Cody Rhodes, because it needs to stop. It's boring. And maybe the point is to make us bored and to get us to talk about how boring it is. Maybe that's the goal. It's like, they're going to hate it so much that you can wrestle Nakazawa in a dark match in Ring of Honor on a Thursday in Japan, and everybody will tune in because they'll hate it so much. Like, I don't understand what's happening.
I'm going to make a comparison here between the two companies. So both have really spectacular world champions. So we're thinking of Roman Reigns and MJF. To me, and in my experience viewing the weekly,
it's Seth Rollins.
Seth Rollins. Oh, please, thank you. Yes, sing his song. I hope your Seth Rollins shirt isn't in your washer, by the way.
It is.
Okay, so that's so unfortunate.
Yep.
Thinking of MJF and Roman Reigns, and in particular here, to me, and in my weekly viewing experience, it seems like we're kind of kicking the tires on their title reigns, meaning that Cody is going to take the belt off Reigns at WrestleMania in Philly. If he doesn't, then I don't know what I'll have to say. But let's live in a world where we know that's going to happen, but yet we have to wait 5 or 6 months to figure out what storylines we're going to get. And Roman's not even here weekly. And then on the AEW side of the coin, This whole build to the Jay White match, which I know we'll talk about as we get into our full gear preview in a little bit, it seems clear cut to me that Max is beating Jay White. I think the idea to have Jay White hold on to the belt and steal the belt and claim the Triple B for weeks and weeks, to me that's a clear sign that he's not actually going to win that title. Let's give him the rub. Let's have him hold it and put him in the spot because he's awesome. But MJF's going to win. I don't think MJF even has the possibility of losing his title until World's End at that December show in New York. And I'm not even convinced he's going to drop it there. So I just feel like we're kind of looking ahead at these dates. For Roman, it's April 2024. For me, for Max, it seems like it's that late December show. I just feel like the weekly storylines aren't enticing me to tune in. I'm going to tune into WrestleMania. I'm going to tune into World's End. But MJF is for sure beating Jay White, and Roman Reigns, if he has a challenger, whoever that man will be, he's for sure beating his Royal Rumble opponent. And I don't even think we're going to get Roman at Survivor Series, which what happened to Survivor Series? That used to be a big four pay-per-view, and now it's still going to be awesome. And if CM Punk shows up, the IWC will be ablaze. But I just feel like they're betting on us to we're just kicking the tire. I'm not invested in either title reign at the moment. Everyone's after MJF, which in theory is cool, but it's just not hitting with me the same way. And like I said, Brad, you know my thoughts on where Roman is at and the lack of legit challengers we have for him.
I think part of it too was when I was watching AEW this week, I was thinking to myself, who's the biggest star outside of MJF right now? Do you have an answer? Because I don't mean name recognition. I mean, who's the star? Who's their biggest star?
I would say it's Orange Cassidy.
I don't even know about that. I'd say it's Tony Storm.
She is timeless.
I don't, because Cassidy is he's their most consistent star. He is probably their top performer in terms of consistency in the ring.
Merch, probably top merch performer.
I don't think so anymore.
No,
the top merch performer is CM Punk.
Well, yeah, it's a whole how that went wrong.
Do you know who else is at the top? Somebody that people keep trying to tune in to see. Danhausen. And he seems deeply unhappy. And I don't know if it's a work or what, but when you look at his social media accounts, he's just salty that he wasn't on TV. So either his time keeps getting cut because he's been there to film things in the back. He did his little vignette, the very nice, very evil, I'm coming back soon stuff. And then he didn't. And he was like, I'm mad or whatever. And then the next week he did the thing with RJ and said, I'm coming to TV next Wednesday. Nothing. Friday, nothing. Saturday, nothing. Where the hell is Danhausen? So you have these characters and these personas and these people that have the capability to blow up, but I'm intrigued by the Moxley Cassidy story a little bit, but they're not on TV. They're in 30-second vignettes or 1 minute vignettes or promos backstage, and they're gone. It's MJF is doing Stone Cold work from 97, 98, where he's just showing up constantly throughout the show. If that's all you got, man, because
kind of feels that way.
Stone Cold MJF doesn't have his Rock. MJF does not have his Triple H. MJF does not have those feuds, and he's not in a faction right now. That's like, he's not starting out coming out of a Nation of Domination. He had the Pinnacle, which petered out pretty fast and then never got brought back up. So there's just something missing there where it's like, I can't believe that Adam Copeland is on my screen doing topes. And also I can't believe I don't really care all that much because I'm not invested in this match. I think what he does is great. And I think what he'll do is going to be really fun. I like the idea of Edge and Darby and Sting, but look at who their opponents were. I mean, no disrespect to them because I think they're great, but You can't suddenly get me up to these factions that haven't done anything. They booked Lance Archer like dog shit for years. He's won nothing. And then he goes away for 6 months at a time. And I've never understood that. Like how that man has not been an AEW champion is bonkers bananas to me. He's huge. He's good on the mic. He's got Jake the Snake with him. Why isn't he strapped up? And why hasn't he been since the beginning? That's crazy to me. And then you have a new tag team in there, which is awesome. And I know the idea is to try to elevate them, to put them in the ring with these icons and these legends and these former champions, and to elevate them that way. But I didn't care about that. There was zero question in my mind about who was winning that match. Hall of Famer, multi-time TNT champion versus tall guy with dreads who never wins, and people from the Righteous Gemstones.
And short guy with dreads. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then like nefarious evangelical priest who sticks his tongue out a lot. Yeah.
A lot. And flails it around a lot. And I don't understand why.
It's a little, it's a little
so
overtly ironic.
And don't get me wrong. Again, I think they're awesome.
Yeah. No. I really enjoy the Righteous. I'm new to them. Really enjoy what I've seen for sure.
Yes.
For sure.
I want to see them in tag team action. I want to see them actually tagging and beating tag teams.
Yeah.
Not losing in 3 ways with Lance Archer.
Yeah. They had that brief stint where they were winning in preparation to face MJF at gosh, I forget the show, the last AEW pay-per-view.
Full Gear?
No.
Full Gear.
Where Edge debuted, or Adam Copeland debuted. Oh gosh, it's a new
All Out.
No, the one. Oh no, I'm gonna look it up.
It wasn't All In. It wasn't All Out. It was.
Wrestle Dream.
Wrestle Dream.
That was the show. That was it. Our viewers and listeners are probably just thank you for hanging.
Well, this is what happens when Tony Khan decides to put together 700 pay-per-views that cost $50 each.
Put that thing on max, man. I think that's probably, wrapping up my thoughts on this, Brad, that's probably the point that's irking me the most with AEW. And you know, I love me some All Elite Wrestling. We just got to get this thing on max, man. I think because I worked myself into a shoot that this was going to be the announcement, that's why it's hitting me in my feelings more than it has in the past. I really thought we were getting it. I hope we do soon, because even though that sweet 19 media money continues to come in, $50 a month is a tall ask, especially when the storylines aren't hitting the way that they used to when AEW was on fire.
I think my big problem too is that when I watch AEW, especially, I have it recording on my DVR, but if I watch live, I stream it. I have to. I'm not staying up that late. I'm just not. So 6 o'clock, I'm logging in, but I got to log in every damn time onto that app, and I have to log in, do an authentication code on my phone, log into my provider, authenticate, wait, and then get in, and then hope it works, because half the time it doesn't. I have to do that on TNT and TBS because they're separate apps for the same damn network. And I got to do that every week because it won't remember it. And it's like the most first world problem ever. But why do I have to log into shit that I'm paying for every single time? Like, just simply remember it. I don't understand why this is difficult. So I got 19 apps to watch these shows because I don't want to stay up late and watch them. And people might be going like, well, late, it's done at 10 o'clock. I'm like, yes. That's like 2 hours past my bedtime, buddy.
And with the time zone shift, now it's 9 p.m. for me. Listen, 8 p.m. was reasonable, but if this thing starts at 9 p.m.,
no way.
I'm maybe gonna get through the first segment before I doze off.
That's just it. I started watching it yesterday at 6, and I was like, man, an hour later. I shouldn't be complaining about 6 o'clock, but I had to log in to get to it, and I missed the first 5 minutes because I always think, oh, just log in. And I watched it on here last week. It'll work. In fairness, I haven't watched it in a while live. So I would need to log in, but it's one of those things. It's like, if we're on Max, I could just watch it there. Just stream it there. So do it concurrently. Have the streaming on Max. You can require the link to your provider rather than log in with your provider. Would make a million times more sense. So that I could log in and be able to do that. But I just want to get to it in a convenient way, and I don't want to have to wait. You can't call it the greatest sport ever and then show it on tape delay. Otherwise, it's not a sport.
That's facts, man. Well, speaking of waiting, we have to wait too long for the finale of the Golden Bachelor.
That's
but
stupid.
it's why are we doing that? But we saw a really important episode. Yes, we checked out the Women Tell All, Brad. We saw was it Gary? Jerry? Gary. We saw Gary make an important, one may say, a very surprising decision this past week. We need to get into it. It's time for a rose from me.
And now, for a rose from GI's most eligible bachelor.
All right, Brad, I'm going to be quick with this one. Women Tell All. Vibes were great. Usually there's kind of beef that's usually hashed out during these Women Tell All specials or even Men Tell All. But it seems like there's no ill will with the ladies, which is awesome. We got a lot of Sandra time. We got Susan being Susan. It was awesome. What Batch Nation is talking about, what we are going to talk about, is the rose ceremony heard around the world. Brad, Gary did not choose Faith.
No.
We were completely wrong. He kicked Faith to the curb, respectfully. Faith made an appearance on Women Tell All. She looked amazing, and her and Gary, had some tears and kind of said their final goodbyes to each other. Brad, our final two for the Golden Bachelor are Leslie and Teresa. Teresa made it. She survived. I never should have doubted her. Never doubted Teresa from New Jersey. Brad, I can't believe this. I'm still stunned. These are our final two. Faith is gone. What did you think of Gary's big decision?
I can't believe it. I can't believe it, and I can't believe it. First of all, Teresa isn't going to be making it past the next round. She's not getting picked. If she is, then I'll never watch another episode again.
I'm rolling with Teresa.
Oh,
Brad, I'm choosing her to go all the way. I'm never doubting her again. You shouldn't either.
oh, it's just so stupid. Whatever.
You were
if he's
really
happy,
upset
they're
about this
happy.
decision.
Yes. Teresa is not my pick. She seems like a very lovely woman, a very kind woman. Absolutely not. So I guess I don't care, because if these two people are happy together, cool. I also think Leslie is the clear front runner and the choice that I would make if I were running a show for The Bachelorette. So there is that. So if there's any kind of studio pressure involved in these, because we don't know anything, that's the one. We'll see. Here, I wrote some notes.
Oh man. Okay.
Question for you, Tyler.
Let's go.
What do you think is the word that Sandra gets bleeped out?
Oh, yeah.
What word is it, do you think?
It was a thing.
It was a conversation we were having. She did it when she got out of the limo, and then she did it all together in the audience.
It's like the meditating, like the breathe gimmick, like
yes.
And then yeah. I'm gonna say it's just a strong F word, or MF. That's gonna be mine.
Yeah.
Am I bleeping myself here? Is that the gimmick?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
No. That would have been funnier, but no, I think it's I legitimately wanted to know. In terms of production value, it would have been funnier if we hit the bleep. I think she F-bombed it. I think that's it, but I don't know, and I think that's brilliant that we don't know. The Roberta story broke my heart. That was gut wrenching, and then to have her kid in the audience was pretty great. But
that was with Ellen, I want to say, right?
Yes, I believe so. Yeah. It was beautiful. It was wonderful. It was really, really sad.
She may even be the first Golden.
Could
Bachelor.
be.
I think she's a strong favorite.
Her personality is so great that I wouldn't mind that, and she's hilarious.
Yeah.
How much time do you think it is between the end of the show and the decision, and when this Women Tell All thing airs? Because that was probably taped this week.
Yeah.
Where we know that the other thing, the show itself, was not.
Yeah. Oh man, it's got to be at least a week or two, easily, right?
I would say months.
Probably even. Wow.
Well, think about like the show itself, like where they're flying around to hometowns.
Yeah, and they just started this. Well, I'm trying to figure out when they started taping this.
I don't know because they were in
Late
they're in
summer, early fall.
they were in California, right?
Right. Yeah.
So my guess is in the summer
Wow.
because just looking at the weather, maybe
Right.
spring summer.
Yeah. Cool
So
season.
yeah, I would imagine. And then they were in Costa Rica for this next week's thing. So there's a lot of travel involved and logistics involved, and then all of the editing they have to do. So they have to give themselves several months to put it all together and get those video packages even ready for the Women Tell All.
Yeah, it's got to be months. You're right.
And to find interviews where Sandra is absolutely dropping a megaton of ass on camera, just.
That was a consistent, our lady Sandra Susan. That was, I don't know that I need to see that, right?
Well,
and it's not
watching
her
do the tilt, and then just like mean mugging the camera while just thundering.
And listen, this is not just some sort of weird gender dynamic. Even if they were to do this with men,
that's gonna happen.
I don't know that I need to see fart humor. I think I don't tune in to my batch to see that.
I don't even know if it's fart humor, if it's just her having uncontrollable flatulence. Like it'd be different if it was staged. That was just her ripping one.
Yeah.
And then during an interview, it was like, I got lower GI problems, and then just tilting. And it's like, all right, when you're old, you're old. You gotta do what you gotta do, I guess. But
I guess so.
It being followed up with everybody laughing when I think Susan yelled, "That was not the meatballs." In the audience, that popped. Yeah, it was the guac.
It's guacamole, man.
Yeah, it was the guac. All of that. I loved all of this. I loved the stories. I loved the personality. It's the stuff that I was saying to Jess. I'm like, I don't know if I could, like, they did a great job of painting Kathy as this villain, and like the way she said things made me just, this person. That's how I feel about Teresa. It feels phony. So whenever, and I have no idea if any of it is, it's because we get these little glimpses of what they're actually like, and then we just have to piece it all together, and I don't know if we can. And it's I don't know how to feel about it.
I'm excited to talk to you about the finale, even though we got to wait a few weeks for it. You're going Leslie. I'm full on Team Teresa. We're gonna talk more Golden Badge, but before we get out of here, Brad, we have to talk Full Gear. It is this Saturday from the Kia Forum, the fabulous forum in Los Angeles. I'm going to run through this card. I simply want to know who you are picking to win these matches. Let's kick off with MJF defending his ROH World Tag Team Championship. It's currently listed as MJF and a mystery partner going up against Austin and Colton Gunn. Who's winning this match, Brad?
Depends on the mystery partner. I don't even know what else to say.
Adam Cole's not ready, right?
If Samoa Joe ends up doing it, and then that sets up the title shot down the line in New York, that would make a lot of sense. So I'll just say it's Joe, because Adam Cole's even like, just get Samoa Joe to help you. So it's probably going to be Joe. So if it's Joe, MJF and Joe kill the Guns.
I'm good with that. Yeah, I think there's no way MJF drops here. Hikaru Shida defending her AEW Women's World Championship against the aforementioned timeless Toni Storm.
Toni Storm.
Ooh, you think it's time? That's not a pun I intended, but
I think her with the belt in black and white will be awesome.
Yeah, she's, like you said, she's one of their biggest stars. Right now.
That character is undeniable. Put the belt on her. Okay. And then that'll set up a rematch later on down the road when Jamie returns.
I hope that's soon.
Yeah, me too.
We mentioned some of these guys earlier. Sting, Darby Allin, and Adam Copeland with Ric Flair in their corner going up against Christian Cage, Luchasaurus, and Nick Wayne. Team Sting's got to win this, yeah?
I mean,
the man's undefeated. He better not lose an AEW.
I started laughing at the tag team that you were talking about Luchasaurus, Christian Cage, and Nick Wayne.
Nick Wayne eats another pin here, right?
Against two legends managed by a legend. And also
a face of the company.
And a face of a company, yeah. I was going to say and a pillar.
And a pillar, yeah. Both can be true. Yeah. Very intriguing one. I can't wait to hear your pick on this. Orange Cassidy defending the AEW International Championship against Jon Moxley. Obviously, Mox beat him, one more pun, to a pulp at All Out in the main event, one of our favorite shows of the year, back when we enjoyed wrestling. Does Jon Moxley defeat Orange Cassidy again and become a two-time international champion, Brad?
I think so. I don't know. This is the one that I'm probably most torn. I want Cassidy to win. It makes more sense for his character to win unless they're going to turn him heel. But Mox winning seems very much like when Punk lost, got hurt, or won, got hurt, had to relinquish it the first time, and then came back and then won it almost immediately after that as his way of picking it up after an injury. I kind of feel like that might happen because Mox dropped it because he got hurt. So this would be a good way to get it back to him.
Yeah. Part of me wonders, are we going to get an OC win so then they can have the rubber match number 3,
which would make sense.
AEW does quite often. I'm going to go OC to retain, but I do think that would set up that rubber match, and at that point, I would pick Mox to win. Maybe that's what we get at World's End.
I think it would be awesome if OC squashed him.
Oh,
like one orange punch to lead.
We haven't had that in a minute. That's like going back to AEW Dark Days.
I was gonna say Moxley killing CM Punk.
That too.
What?
Yeah, I was
that not how that was supposed to go? Like that was so good.
Yeah. Okay, I like it. Another rematch. This is a grudge match. It's gotten very personal in recent weeks. In fact, it's a Texas death match at Full Gear. Hangman Adam Page versus Swerve Strickland. Does Hangman get his revenge?
Yeah, I think so.
Me too. Yeah, this match is going to
add.
This match is going to rule.
Yeah,
we're going to get a rubber match.
Yeah,
World's End.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think
because they'll be 1-1 at that point. So yeah, just
sure.
let it ride
for sure. As long as Swerve wins this feud, then I will be happy.
Yes, Swerve needs to win the feud.
We've not talked about these two. The Golden Jets, Kenny Omega and Chris Jericho versus the Young Bucks. And there's a big stipulation here. If the Golden Jets win, they will get the Young Bucks AEW World Tag Team Championship shot. However, if the Young Bucks win, the Golden Jets must disband as a team. Who wins?
God, I hope it's the Bucks. The end.
This is going to be it for the Golden Jets?
I hope so.
Okay.
I don't want to see that anymore. Like we had the Golden Lovers sitting right there, and we're doing the Golden Jets. Like I understand it. It's Kenny and the Jets, but like, come on now. I just no, I'm good.
This is a storyline we haven't loved.
Why is Chris Jericho teaming with everybody?
Yeah.
Pick a partner, man. Is it the Jericho Show? Is it the Jets? Is it the Pinnacle? Is it I don't know what I don't even know what you're doing. The Inner Circle,
the Sex Gods,
the Yaz, Les Sex Gods, which I don't know if I'm missing something. Is Sammy just gone?
Oh, Ty, the pregnancy.
Okay.
Having a child. Yeah. I think he's gone to support his wifey. I'm going to agree with you on this one. I'm not picking this with very much confidence, Brad. I'm probably going to regret this. I'm going to agree with you, though. I'm going to go with the Young Bucks winning. I'm really looking forward to this next one. 3-way for the TBS Championship. Chris Stat defending against Julia Hart and, as of this recording, Red Velvet or Sky Blue. 2 quick thoughts. I definitely think Sky Blue is beating Red Velvet, although I'm super happy that she's back and she's healthy.
Me too.
I'm just gonna go with it, bro. I'm just gonna cook before I pass it to you. As much as I predicted a very, very long Chris Stat run, I think this is where Julia Hart wins. I think Sky Blue officially joins the House of Black or House of Hart. I think even this could be a chance for Willow to turn and join the dark side. I think this is where we need to crown Julia.
I don't know. I hope she's okay. Her counter to that power bomb from Willow was land with all of her body weight directly on her ass, compressing her spine. Like she got up slowly and she went up to those ropes. And part of me was like, I don't know if I don't know if she's acting there. I don't know if she's selling or if she just destroyed something in her back.
The finish of that match.
That was fugly.
It wasn't great.
I don't know. Sure, why not? Give it to Julia. I don't think Willow's turning.
Really?
No, she's not wearing the eye makeup anymore. She went back to bright colors. I don't think she is. Okay. I think she's fine. I think it's going to be Sky because she's still doing the drippy Asuka makeup.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think Sky's taking the belt here. It's definitely between Chris and Julia for me, but I think Julia's built up a lot of momentum and has clearly improved in the ring. I think this would be a big look for her.
Yeah.
Final two matches, four-way tag. A lot of multi-person title matches here. Four-way tag for the World Tag Team Championship. Ricky Starks and Big Bill defending against LFI, FTR, and the Kings of the Black Throne. Are we going to crown new champs here?
I don't know. I think so. Hopefully House of Black. But I don't know.
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah. It's the one that makes the most sense.
It makes the most sense. I could see it. I'm going to pick the champs, though. I think Starks and Bill retain.
I don't know, man. I don't.
There are some intriguing ones here. I don't know who's winning some of these, man.
I mean, those two make sense for just having Big Bill on their team.
Yes.
In general, but the Big Bill Brody King face off is going to be awesome.
Oh yeah.
I can't wait for that, but could just give Malachi gold. Like I don't love Ricky and Big Bill as a tag team to begin with. I want Ricky to do singles stuff. I want him to win in a singles thing. He had like all that single stuff. Like he did all of those promos. I'm better than people. I'm counted out, blah, blah, blah. Oh, now I'm a tag champ. What the hell happened there? Like the story, they just gave up on it. It's weird. So like, I didn't want him to be a tag team champion to begin with because it didn't make any sense. It just sort of like killed all of his singles momentum. So since Malachi Black clearly doesn't have any because Tony Khan doesn't want him to, give him the tag belts. That's how I feel about it.
Yeah. Yeah, man,
I don't know if it'll happen, but
if Starks and Bill are to lose, I think for sure it should.
Crabby Tyler talking about all this wrestling has really pissed me off. And then freaking Teresa,
I could tell. Listen, she's gonna win, man. You just got to get over it. Kings of the Black Throne. If we are getting new champs, I for sure think they should be the guys. And then finally, the main event. We referenced this earlier. I shared who I think is winning, but I want to know what you think, Brad. MJF, Jay White. AEW World Championship. Who's leaving LA as the top guy in the company?
MJF.
Period.
Yeah.
I agree. Yeah.
Not a doubt in my mind.
Nope. What did we miss from this week?
Curse of Oak Island started out. Great 2-hour premiere episode. They're on top of stuff. I can't wait to see what they reveal. In wrestling, the Bunny no longer with AEW. Allie is gone. No longer on the roster page. So wishing her the best. Really liked her work. Was sad she got kind of booked out of AEW, but it sounded like a mutual parting of ways. So hopefully everybody there is happy and healthy.
Yeah, well said. I just have one note. Best rap album nominees. It's official. The Grammys have released the 5 contenders. We have Her Loss by Drake and 21 Savage, Michael by Killer Mike, Heroes and Villains by Metro Boomin, King's Disease 3 by Nas, and finally Utopia by Travis Scott. Brad, I've listened to 1.5 of these albums. So I have some listening to do. I have some music to catch up with. But yeah, man, that should be interesting. I'm kind of leaning Drake and 21 Savage, but again, that's the only album I've heard. So I got to catch up on that. In terms of the sports world, both it's peak college football season for me. Both U of A and ASU won this past weekend. So that makes me really happy.
Big we don't always for U of A.
We don't always get these simultaneous wins, but both programs won. Obviously, now I'm in a place in my life where I root for both schools actively. So I'm hoping for continued wins. I'm hoping for good wrestling this week, Brad. And I'm really hoping that Full Gear just delivers in a really huge way.
I'm glad you said something because I forgot it was happening this weekend. And in college sports, it's been really calm. As a Wolverines fan, nothing going on.
Not at all. Not at all. You secured the win. There's no controversies.
Nope. I was watching it with lasers on. I mean glasses on. I mean a disguise on. Anyway.
No 3-game bans. U of A men's basketball as well beat Duke in a really huge game. Shout out to the U of A women as well. Hoping they have a really successful year too. But Brad, it's time for us to get out of here, man. This was a different episode, but a good episode nonetheless. I feel like both of us needed to get some things off our chest regarding wrestling. and it was kind of cathartic, man. So
I felt good.
I appreciate you. We also appreciate all of you for tuning into us. You know, if you don't know, you should know. You can find our articles on wrestling, pop culture, and more by visiting gimmickinfringementpod.com. We're all over social media as well, most notably on X. You can follow us there at GIPod19, but certainly check out the Instagram and the Facebook as well. We thank you so much for being here. And of course, we hope you'll join us again for the next edition of GI. Gimmick Infringement is a part of 19 Media Group. You can listen to us on Apple, Spotify, iHeartRadio, or wherever you find podcasts. You can also find us on YouTube via the 19 Media Group channel. Please like, subscribe, comment, and share.